Alright, so I just need to go ahead and do this rant, and this little bit of a rant here. I want to get it off my head, out of my chest, or, no, off my chest and out of my head. There we go. So, the question that I have right now for a lot of people is that who are the fascists in this current age of politics in America? Is it the political left or the political right? Most of the evidence that I can present would be anecdotal at best, but all I'm doing right now is actually providing an opinion, nothing more. And as George Carlin says, political correctness is fascism pretending to be manners. And I've got to say that I quite agree with him. So now, what is the definition of fascism? A lot of people say, oh, they already know. They know what it is. We don't need to say it again. Well, the full definition of fascism, as per Merriam-Webster, is a political philosophy, movement, or regime, as that of the fascisti, I can't pronounce Italian, that exalts a nation and often race above the individual, and that stands for a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, severe economic and social regimentation, and forcible suppression of opinion. So that's the full definition of fascism. And, oftentimes when I see individuals on the right try to be politically correct, it seems that they can't be as correct as someone on the left. Whereas someone on the left will say a few words, and they're correct almost 100% of the time. When the right promotes an idea, such as self-reliance, self-control, or self-governance, they are verbally abused and ridiculed by the politically correct crowd as being fascists, bigots, haters, and phobic of whatever they can think of. The right get judged by what others feel bad about. Oh, my great, great, great grandpappy, pappy, whatever. He had a slave. He had one slave. He treated that slave well, but it doesn't matter. He had this slave, and I must make amends. So, because of that, a lot of the people on the right, whenever we sit there and go, slavery's been over for over 150 years, has been, for 150 years it's been over. And the situation of blacks in America, it's horrible. It is horrible. It's deplorable. And you know what? It's not it's not the fault of this current generation. It's not the fault of millennials. It's not the fault of the new generation that'll be coming after us. It's not our fault that shit happened. It's not our fault that they elected people to represent them, who in turn, after promising them a bunch of shit, sat there and said, oh wait, no, we can't actually give you that. Or, yeah, we'll give you that as long as you go ahead and you stay underfoot and you continue to be my proverbial slave. So even though literal slavery has ended in America, the proverbial slavery of blacks and Latinos in America, that is still kind of there, but not in the sense that a lot of people seem to think it is. I can touch on that later. So, honestly, it's getting so bad lately that not even the left can be PC enough. We have our bleeding heart leftists, like I said, the ones that are like, oh, my great-granddaddy had, or my great-great-great-granddaddy had slaves, and I must make amends, even though I had nothing to do with it. And SJWs that seem to me to be tripping over themselves to appease the little guy, and then hold them up as their token accomplishment. So you have these SJWs that will try and go out of their way to make blacks and Latinos and homosexuals and transgenders and whatever they want to call themselves individuals. They want to make them feel better. And then whenever they can make them feel better and make them feel like they're in a safe space, they hold them up and say, hey, haha, look what I was able to do for this person. Not what this person was able to do for themselves, but what I was able to do for that person. I don't know how that makes sense. But now we have different groups out there trying to appeal to the downtrodden and get them to side with, promote, and fund the groups who are claiming to be fighting for the little guy. oftentimes what I've seen is that those groups are looking to promote their agenda, and anyone who opposes it be damned. So why is it that the ones who are often labeling others as fascists, bigots, haters, and labelists, yes, labeling a person as something they are is being a labelist. But calling them a labelist isn't being a labelist. I don't know, hypocrisy. Anyways, many other inflammatory statements, the people who are just throwing them out, they're the ones being praised, and the ones who are being verbally abused are the wrongdoers. How does that make sense? Seriously though, how is it that hypocrisy is the new and accepted norm, especially amongst those on the left? And I say hypocrisy because many of the ones that are yelling that the right is full of fascists are in fact behaving as fascists and bigots themselves. Yes, they don't put America above others. Instead, they demonize America and place all other nations above it. And they have a humongous tendency to demonize a solitary race of people and lift all others above that of that one race. So, this is the SJWs sitting there demonizing white people for being white and basically trying to make it to where white people are demons and everybody else must be angels. Everybody has the capacity to be a demon and or an angel. It doesn't matter what race you are. If you don't like it, sit and percolate. Well, but beyond that, they call for stronger government involvement into our daily lives and demand severe economic and social changes, as well as demand that their opposition be suppressed and silenced. What do I mean by they demand severe economic and social changes? Well, for the economic sense, they want to go ahead and take away our capitalist free market economy. Yes, it's not a pure capitalist free market economy. That needs to change, and it needs to go back to what it was. Back to what it was that helped make America great, that helped make America awesome, that helped to make America what it is today. They want to just pull away from that whole thing. They sit there and they go, oh, well, capitalism failed. So let's go ahead and try this. We're going to go ahead and try socialism, socialist economics. What does that mean? It means you can earn 10 hours, you can work 10 hours a day. Your neighbor can work 6. Guess what? You're both being paid for 7 or 8. Actually, let's make it 7 because your other neighbor only works about 4 hours and they're going to get paid the same amount that you are. So that's socialist economics, basically. It doesn't matter how much you work, you will get paid the same amount as anybody else. Unless, of course, that other person has like 5 children, then they're going to get more. Even if they worked a lot less or not at all. Because, the children, that's why. And then in regards to the whole social regimentation, there are the SJWs out there, as I was saying, who are trying to make it to where they want us to believe in a false reality. They want us to believe that there's more than 2 genders. There's male, female, always has been, always will be. But now there's male, female, transgender male, transgendered female. Then there's man male or male man or male male and man man and femme female and female female and female femme and man female and female man. And the list just goes on back and forth and back and forth. The one thing that I've noticed with the list that I found, they don't get away from the fact that there's a male and a female. And then for those people that want to sit there and say, my gender pronoun is they, them, or their, how is it that by yourself happen to actually make a multitude of people? If you honestly believe that you are a multitude of individuals, then please see someone about that, because that could be something really serious, and you should probably have that checked out. Or you should probably check into reality and understand that you are one body, one person. Oh, and then there are those individuals that sit there and say, oh, well, I have 2 souls residing within me. I gotta admit something. At one point in time, I actually kind of believed that. I actually kind of believed that I had two souls residing within me. You know why? Because it made me feel special. But then over time, I started growing up and I started realizing, no, I don't have two souls residing within me. I have one soul. One soul, one person, one being. I mean, I'll argue with myself, but that doesn't mean I'm two different people. It just means I can't make up my mind. Oh. But they want us to believe that a false reality is reality. And then they're demanding that anybody who opposes their false reality, or whatever you want to call it, that they be forced into a little tiny corner, so that way everybody else can feel, or namely them, can feel safe, and or that those individuals who oppose their idea of reality, that they be told to shut up, that they be silenced, so that way they can feel safe. I mean, they've gone so far as to demand that safe place be prepared for them whenever they even voluntarily attend rallies or speeches of people that actually oppose, that are going to be speaking in opposition to their viewpoint. Now, I could understand it if they were told they had to attend no matter what, but still, why should we do so just to protect their fragile ego and their fragile ideals that can be shattered, bruised, or hurt by an opposing viewpoint? I know that I'll have people who will be angry with me or possibly hate me for my views, but that's alright. They have their views, and I'll have mine. Maybe one day they'll convince me they are right, and maybe one day I'll convince them I'm right. Who knows? Till then, we've just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other.